This is our home. It's a world where those who hold the power decide between prosperity and destruction. It's a place where great alliances are forged, only to face war and conflict. It's a cycle of ascension and downfall. And then, at the very center of it all, there's a great force that we can't reach. But we all feel this force pulling and pushing on our world. It's the kind of force that could alter history. Perhaps the kind that already has. Hey there. So that was a little in-universe introduction to the world of Black Horizon. Black Horizon is a science fiction world/IP that I've been building for quite some time now, actually a couple of years. And in this video, I simply want to give you an overview of the world as a whole. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the purpose and what it all leads to. So let me start off by showing you the world itself. Black Horizon is set in a fictional galaxy surrounding a massive black hole. The black hole is surrounded by a powerful barrier emanating from the hole itself. And so far, no one has managed to cross it without being ripped apart. This shrouds the area in mystery, and therefore the hole has been dubbed the Black Horizon. The stories of Black Horizon stretches throughout the galaxy, but primarily around the southern quadrant where the majority of the galaxy's population resides. For almost 300 years, the galaxy had relative peace as a coalition of worlds, organizations and species across the galaxy had endured, simply known as the Galactic Alliance. But it wouldn't last as old wounds resurfaced and a new way of nationalism and old values swept across the galaxy and became the downfall of the Alliance. After the Alliance fell, new empires, powers and organizations were reborn, systems were divided and borders redrawn. But a major conflicted area, rich in resources and vital trade routes, was heavily disputed. This area is called the Belt, and it puts many power-hungry nations at odds with each other, especially between the newly reformed Chorus Consortium and the power-hungry Julian Empire. Both Julia and Chorus are now looking to extend their reach into the Belt, as it could be a decisive area for maintaining their grip on the galaxy as a whole. However, they are not the only factions to play a part in the galaxy. After the Great Fall, the galaxy was open for new rulers to take over. The Julian Empire is by far the largest and most powerful state in the galaxy. The armies are well organized and they reign over a massive territory. They are now led by an authoritarian government with a devoted emperor at the helm. Generally, the Julians are proud to be Julian and wish to share and develop their way of life with the rest of the galaxy, which is understandable as the Julian Empire provides basic income, free education and healthcare to all citizens in Julia. However, the Empire maintains a strong no-religion doctrine, which puts them at great odds with the many different cultures and races inside the Empire, and at even greater odds with their most hated enemy, the Chorus Consortium. The Chorus Consortium started as a cult worshipping their god Chorus, a god upholding personal freedom as the ultimate right. A god preaching a society of survival of the fittest, the consortium believes that without pain, passionate love and suffering, they are not living. And after the Great Fall, the consortium took control of many nearby systems, and while their words of freedom inspired many, their dark cult can be a hard thing to accept. Sitting closest to the Black Horizon itself are the Syrian territories. Although their territories are not as large as those of Julia, their reach is far longer. The Syrians were and still are a race in their own right, but the name has become synonymous with something else: wealth and power. The Syrian banker elite is an alliance of wealthy bankers manipulating politics, resources, and sometimes entire wars, all to increase their personal wealth. Their institution is thousands of years old and is often so automated that most of the leaders have no concept of how they maintain their wealth. Many are now simply born into a life of luxury, but their influence remains strong, so strong that it is said that at the end of every trade, a Syrian awaits their share. The galaxy is vast and it can be hard to make it alone, but if you do, you will probably be categorized as a raider. Lawless pirates, bounty hunters, and crime lords are what defines the inhabitants of the raid space, but their presence can be found throughout the galaxy. And most recently, as the belt is under threat, instability and war is brewing in that area, and many raiders have landed themselves there as a new hub for pursuing crime deeper into the core systems. But the galaxy's history is not always determined by the biggest forces. Sometimes individuals can perform incredible feats, and in Black Horizon none are more incredible than the Conduits. Conduits are individuals who have a unique and almost magic connection to the electromagnetic fields in technology. They uniquely possess the ability to alter and manipulate technology to their will. All conduits today have been artificially created or have been offsprings from the ones artificially created. Their ability is so unique and difficult to produce, no more than a few thousands throughout the galaxy possess this ability. Almost all conduits have been created under a secret wing of the Julian Empire as part of a super soldier program, the conduits being their most successful program yet. Conduits can always feel the electromagnetic fields around them. However, to connect and interact with a piece of technology, they will first have to understand their target through a process called glancing. After the connection, conduits can use their powers to activate and use technology at will at a distance through an almost telepathic connection. Conduits can also use their powers to alter functionality. Something they often use is the ability to overload a device to cause lightning arcs or explosions, which can be a quite effective offense. Because of this unique ability, technology catered to conduits have been created to assist and enhance their abilities further. Conduit technology can only be used by conduits and is not built like normal. It is built with alteration and flexibility in mind, and in combination with a conduit, it far surpasses most other technology. This tech can range from simple rifles to whole starships. Generally, the conduits are considered to be super powered, beyond any normal person. But living in a technology-rich world has at times made them over-reliant on their skills. Using non-electronic weaponry like gunpowder or traditional weapons can often cut them off guard and give the opponent the edge. Because of the conduit's unique skill set, the conduits often represent characters we follow in the main stories of Black Horizon. But the powers of the conduits and the setting of the world as a whole is heavily defined by the technology available in the galaxy. In the galaxy of Black Horizon, inhabitants can travel between star systems using warp-capable starships, which cut centuries of travel down to days. A typical warp-capable ship has three important components: a horizon drive, also called the warp drive, impulse boosters, and a force shield. Warp speeds in Black Horizons are achieved by containing an artificial black hole inside the ship and then redirecting its gravity-bending density to warp space around itself. The super dense property of the black hole is also used to create artificial gravity on larger ships, replicating the properties of mass bending the curvature of space. Impulse boosters are hybrid fusion plasma engines. A special fuel containing oxidizers and fuel for chemical and fusion rocketry is split apart and ejected at massive velocities. These boosters are what enable starships to leave planets, travel within solar systems, and enter celestial bodies. The force shield is designed for two functions: defense against enemy weapons, or as a way to reshape the aerodynamic properties of a ship in different atmospheres. Larger ships in need of maintenance on the ground often need helper vehicles to help them descend to the planet's surface, as the ships are not built for those kinds of tolerances. Likewise, when they have to leave planet surfaces, they shoot up in a more traditional rocket fashion to use their more powerful engines to enter orbit. However, to inhabit and thrive on planets with different atmospheres and pressures, people have to use suits to counteract the forces at play. To achieve this, most races use counter-mechanical pressure suits to create an even pressure on foreign planets. To acquire the best fit and performance, suits like these are tailored to each individual. And thus owning a pressure suit is seen as a gateway to traveling in space and visiting foreign systems. All in all, the technology of Black Horizon is heavily inspired by real-world science and technology, but rules are pushed to explore a sense of grandeur. But the aim is to maintain laws of physics and the universe to give a sense of danger and limitations when the inhabitants venture into space, so that when those limitations are overcome, it's all the more exciting. So that was a bit of a breakdown of the world itself, and hopefully now you can kind of see what kind of world it is that I'm building and understand what it is I'm dealing with here. And believe me, there's so much more in this world that I would love to share. But I also want to figure out the right way of sharing this world, and that kind of leads me on to the final question. What is it all for? Well, first and foremost, I simply just love and enjoy the process of world building. I spend most of my waking hours thinking about the what ifs in certain worlds and scenarios and how things could unfold. So it often becomes a space for me to just enjoy and feel comfortable, and even at its most basic level, it feels great to share. But that's not all of it. For a very long time now, I've been interested in creating my own experiences set in these worlds, and I've tried many times to do that in different mediums. I actually got very close to finishing up a card game set in Black Horizon almost 2 years ago, and hopefully I'll be able to get back to that at some point. I also almost planned out 6 seasons of a potential TV show, and now I'm turning that story into a comic book that I'm working on by myself on the side. So there are lots of projects, and that's not even mentioning the other worlds that I'm also kind of scrambling to get finished, and that just kind of resolves into my personality and the way that I work. But I think more than anything, I've always wanted to make games. It's kind of what I grew up on, and in so many ways, it's the ultimate medium, including story, worlds, atmosphere, play and fun and collaboration. So I'm here now to say that the purpose of Black Horizon, as it is right now, is to be the setting and the world of a game that I'm currently working on. And I'm very excited to share more about this game in the near future. And with that said, I hope that this video was useful and insightful. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. You can also leave a comment if you have anything to discuss or ask. And if you want to follow us in the future, then subscribe and hit that notification bell.